From Lee Jordan Field in Chugiak, Alaska, it is game number 14 as the Chugiak Eagle River Chinooks try to get back in their winning ways tonight against the Anchorage Glacier Pilots. Andrew Alex here with my broadcast partner, Garrett Mansfield. Garrett, what do the Chinooks have to do tonight to get back on the winning track?
Well, number one is, they got to have good situational hitting, one thing that they have lacked in the last couple of nights. And number two would be one thing that they have not struggled with at all this season as strong starting pitching. They have their ace, Michael Fairchild, on the hill tonight. Fairchild, one guy that is very, very experienced in the ABL and is ready to help his team get back at it this evening. A lot of stuff going on at the ballpark tonight. It's Cancer Awareness Night. A lot of people around. So a busy ballpark we have yet again. I'm going to have a packed ballpark again. So the focus, trying to take all that out of your mind and focus on task at hand for the Chinooks, and hopefully they're out winners at the end of it.
Of course, tonight is a very big, a very emotional night here at Lee Jordan Field. It is Cancer Awareness Night. A member of the community will be running on a treadmill for all 9 innings to raise awareness for pancreatic cancer. Thank you so much to the Alaska Club for helping fund this event, and all the players on both the Chinooks and the Pilots, all the staff, all the fans in attendance have all taken cards and written the name of a loved one, a friend, family member who's been affected by cancer. And just a very special, a very beautiful night. I know that myself, I'm dedicating tonight's broadcast to my friend Will A. Drury, who suffered from cancer a number of times throughout his childhood and later in life, a stroke. Will is probably one of the closest people to me in my entire life, and it's just an honor to have known him. He has changed my life in so many ways, showing me the true meaning of strength and what you can do with the grace of God in this life. And I love broadcasting games, and Will, I know you're listening, and it's tough that I can't be with you this summer. And, if I wasn't here, the one place I'd rather be is eating nachos with you in the town pub. So, buddy, I love you just as everyone loves all of the people that they're talking tonight, representing here tonight. It's a very emotional night here from Lee Jordan Field. But now, back to the task at hand. We are playing baseball here. And Michael Fairchild's first opponent here will be Luke Hamblin, the center fielder out of the University of Central Florida. Luke Hamblin batting .256 on the season. And play ball. The first pitch from Michael Fairchild sails in there for a called strike one. Fairchild on the year. A 1.72 ERA. The pitch from Fairchild is fouled back right into the screen. And that was about 5 feet to the left of me and Garrett. So the count 0-2 here on Hamblin. Hamblin, part of the well-represented Central Florida Knights here in the Alaskan Baseball League. The pitch from Michael Fairchild. Taken upstairs, ball 1. The count moves to 1-2. And the Chinooks on a 3-game losing skid, trying to get back to their winning ways. Fairchild, the 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Michael Fairchild starts the game off with a bang here against the Anchorage Glacier Pilots, striking out Luke Hamblin for the first out of the game.
Yeah, big start for Fairchild, getting the first batter he sees, and one thing that he has not missed a beat all summer on strong starts.
And now the batter will be Carson Crites. Crites comes into today batting .192. The first pitch from Michael Fairchild taken on the inside, ball 1. Crites out of the University of Southeastern Louisiana competes in the same conference as Stephen F. Austin, where Grant Page, Travis Stone, and Tyler Boxwell played in the 2015 season. And Crites hits that one right to Dave Morton. Morton unable to make the grab. So that'll probably be listed as an error on Dave Morton over there on third base. So Carson Crites stands on first. And the batter, Eugene Vasquez. Vasquez, a teammate of Luke Hamblin over at the University of Central Florida. the second biggest university student-wise in the United States. The first pitch to Vasquez. In there for a called strike one.
And now that the Pilots have runners aboard, one thing that they haven't been able to do all that well, they're only hitting 186 as a team, but they lead the league in stolen bases with 27 through just 14 games played.
And for a team like the Pilots, who kind of lack the power aspect of baseball, the small ball portion of it is huge for them. So look for them and Carson Crites to try to grab a bag here.
But this is definitely one guy in Vasquez that can get a hold of one.
Batting .310 on the year, higher than anyone else in the lineup for the Anchorage Glacier Pilots. The pitch to Vasquez, swing and a miss, strike two.
That was that changeup from Michael Fairchild, and he's one of the very few that'll alter between a 2 and a 4 seam. Most guys will just throw a 4 seam changeup. Usually there isn't much of a difference, but when you're looking at it, the seams, the vision, that has a big change for a player or for a batter up there.
The pitch taken low, the throw from Andrew Mogg on the steal. Oh, and he's safe. Carson Crites grabs a bag there, increasing the Anchorage Glacier Pilots season total.
5th on the year by Crites.
So now a runner on second, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out here in the top of the first inning as Michael Fairchild tries to shut him down here. Fairchild, the 2-2 pitch. And that is popped up sky high, a fly ball into right field. Under it to make the grab is Braxton Wilkes, but tagging from second is Carson Crites. So 2 down here. And a runner on third base. The batter is Kevin Veers out of Fresno State University. The same school that produced Derek Carr, David Carr. The first pitch from Michael Fairchild fouled right back directly in front of my face. Thank you for the chain link fence that we have here. So the count moves 0-1.
Kevin Veers is definitely a guy that can get into one. Back here for his second summer with the Glacier Pilots. Ryan Dobson was the other Fresno State Bulldog here with the Glacier Pilots a year ago.
0-1. Swing and a miss. And that changeup again, it looked like.
Curveball. Dumped the curveball in on him.
I guess I saw the break there.
Didn't have much to it, but very tight curveball from Fairchild on that pitch.
So runner on third, the count 0-2, 2 outs here. The pitch from Fairchild is fouled hard, and that was just a bit off the third base line.
That was enough to kick up some dust along the third base line. Fairchild definitely had Veers late on the swing.
So 0-2 again here. Carson Crites stands on third. The 0-2 from Michael Fairchild, taking on the lower outside corner. The count moves 1 ball, 2 strikes. And Fairchild, the 1-2 pitch, and that's popped up sky high, and that's going to go out of play, foul. Fairchild out of Azusa Pacific University. The alma mater of former AIA baseball legend Kirk Neuenhuis. The pitch, and that's grounded right back to Fairchild, but it gets past him. Will Bass to the throw to first in time for the third out of the inning. So a little bit of trouble from an error on the third base side, but no problem for Michael Fairchild. He gets out of the inning unscathed. And now we are going to head into the bottom of the first as the Chinooks looking to strike for their first run in 2 games. And this is how the batting order is going to look for the Chinooks. Batting First and playing second base, Will Bass. The right fielder, Braxton Wilkes, batting second. Batting third, the catcher, Andrew Mogg. The first baseman, Michael Staudinger, will be batting fourth. Playing center field and batting fifth will be Caden Owens. Holt Davis, the designated hitter, batting sixth. Caleb Potter in left field, batting seventh. The third baseman, Dave Morton, batting eighth. And in the 9-hole, Hunter Hanks will be playing shortstop.
And actually, Andrew, this is an offense that has been scoreless through 23 innings between the Glacier Pilots back on Wednesday, and then the last two nights against the Matsu Miners. A 4-1 fourth against the Glacier Pilots, the only inning the Chinooks scored, period, in that game back on Wednesday night. But looking to get back in the swing of things after they've lost 3 straight after an 8-game winning streak. So already we're seeing a very streaky ball club. But when they're good and they're on, they are on. And the ABL really hadn't had an answer for them until they got knocked off the horse.
And the Chinooks come into this game ranked 18th in the nation among summer collegiate teams.
And depending on how you want to view that, actually a collegiate ranking that came out about a day and a half ago, and the Chinooks were 18 and the Matsu Miners were 19, but the records on the rankings were both 8 and 3 before the Chinooks and Miners played on Thursday.
We can't say that we're deservingly ranked higher than the Matsu Miners.
Not anymore.
Beat us in all 6 contests, exhibition and regular season. But stepping into the box will be Will Bass. Will Bass definitely kind of struggling as of late. He's 0 for his last 13. But Jordan Vieira showing the confidence, keeping Bass in the lineup in the leadoff spot. Nonetheless, the first pitch to Will Bass is taken on the outside, ball 1. Will Bass out of Wayland Baptist University, the team MVP there. The 1-0 to Will Bass. And the appeal to the umpire says he goes. So the count moves to 1-1. The 1-1 pitch from Schneiders. And that's in there for a called strike 2.
And this is where Will Bass has had a little bit of trouble these last couple of ball games, getting behind in the count early outside of fighting it. He did have a walk last night.
The windup, the 1-2 delivers. And Will Bass fouls that one hard down the third base line, out of play.
My favorite part about Will Bass is he's a guy who is 100% effort all the time, and he is going to get his hacks. He's going to get his swings. You won't see him go down looking.
1-2 from Will Bass, swing and a miss, strike 3. So just as Michael Fairchild did in the top half of the inning, Patrick Schneider starts the game off with a strikeout. And now the batter will be Braxton Wilkes. Braxton's parents in attendance this evening, making the trip all the way out here. And Braxton Wilkes from McLennan Community College looks to spend his next year at Abilene Christian in Abilene, Texas, a Division I program.
The alma mater of both of his parents as well.
Yes, the alma mater of both of his parents. Good call. So a great fit for him, and Braxton waves at the first pitch from Patrick Snyder. So here's the 0-1. Schneiders takes the sign from catcher Gunnar Troutwine. Sets, delivers, and that's blooped into foul territory on the third base line, so the count's going to move to 0-2. And Braxton Wilkes, first time playing in the field since June the 23rd.
Yeah, and then outside of that, it was back to the 18th in Fairbanks when he's spent a lot of time in the bullpen as a reliever, and a good one at that, and really a staple in long relief.
Yeah, one of the Chinooks' most successful and efficient and consistent pitcher so far this year. So the 1-2 count on Braxton Wilkes. The pitch taken low inside, ball 2. So the count even at 2-2 now.
Didn't miss by much down there, but get in there and readjust.
The 2-2 deal. And Braxton Wilkes pops that one up. going foul ground into the Chinooks bullpen, and the catch is made there by Joe Maroney out in left field for the second out of the inning. So Joe Maroney had to track it all the way sliding into the Chinooks bullpen, but eventually able to make the grab. So now with 2 down here in the bottom of the first inning, the batter will be Andrew Mogg. Mogg against the Pilots so far this year is 2 for 9. And comes into the game batting .235. And is the Chinooks leader as well as the Alaska Baseball League's leader in home runs with a pair of them. One against the Anchorage Bucks and one back in Fairbanks. The 1-0 pitch to Andrew Mogg, and Mogg lines that one into right center field. A base hit, and the Chinooks with the first hit of the game for either ball club. And the Filipino phenom continues to impress after getting a much-deserved day off yesterday. And that
seems to be refocused. Took that ball the other way on a pitch away, and Andrew Mogg just an impressive piece of hitting as the masher from behind the home plate.
And that's going to bring up Michael Staudinger.
Stodd's really trying to get back in what his groove was in Fairbanks when he had a tremendous series and then did the same against the Bucks as well.
The first pitch to Michael Staudinger taken in there for a called strike.
He's moved his way from 3 for his last 20, but he's 2 for his last 5. So he's starting to come back around.
The pitch to Stotts is grounded to the second baseman, Carson Kreitz, the throw to first, in time for the third out of the inning. So after 1, we are scoreless here from Lee Jordan Field. We are going to be right back here with you for the top of the second. Stay tuned. You are listening to Chinooks Radio. Back here for the top of the second. The score still 0-0 here from Lee Jordan Field. And the first batter of the inning that Michael Fairchild will see is Gunnar Troutwine, the catcher out of Wichita State. The red-haired Justin Turner-looking guy comes in batting 188. The first pitch from Michael Fairchild taken just outside ball 1. Troutwine awaits the pitch from Fairchild, and that is popped up sky high out of play down the first base line. So the count evens up at 1-1. Troutwine, the everyday catcher for the most part for the Anchorage Glacier Pilots. The 1-1 pitch is popped up. Chasing it is Michael Staudinger. Blocking the sun with his glove, makes the grab for the first out of the inning.
That's a tough play for a first baseman, especially going back. It doesn't seem like it, and More times than not, the second baseman will come over and grab that. But Stottinger, confident in his ability to get underneath of it. No problems there. Didn't have to move too much. Will Bass, of course, gave him a hand over there, make sure he was lined up.
So that'll bring up J.J. Wagner. Wagner playing third base today out of the University of the Pacific. The first pitch to Wagner in there for a called strike. Wagner comes in batting 171. One of a couple of guys in the lineup that are struggling. And Wagner takes again, strike two. So the count 0-2 here as Michael Fairchild tries to grab his possibly second strikeout of the day. Fairchild pitching out of the windup. Time is called. As Fairchild maybe took just a little too long to deliver that one. Wagner steps back into the box. Fairchild, the 0-2, delivers. And that's in the dirt, a breaking ball. Blocked there by catcher Andrew Mogg. So the count moves to 1-2. And Michael Fairchild, still with the blonde mohawk.
Something carrying over from the Azusa Pacific playoff run.
And Wagner takes low again. Ball two. The count even up here at 2-2. Fairchild sets, delivers. And that's popped up sky high out of play.
Azusa Pacific in Division II of the NCAA had a pretty good run. Thought they were going to get a little further than they did before UC San Diego bounced them out of the tournament.
Azusa Pacific most of the year ranked in the top 25 in the D2 nationally. The pitch taken high. Another curveball there from Michael Fairchild that just didn't hit the spot he was looking for. So the count full here on J.J. Wagner. Fairchild, the pitch. And that is knocked deep into center field. Tracking back there is Caden Owens under it to make the grab at the wall. And Caden Owens, a very, very impressive play in the field as he tracked a long, long way back. Makes the catch, kind of jumping up there to get it at the wall. Impressive work.
That is shades of a young Torrey Hunter right there, just racing back. And Caden Owens, what can you say about him? He's a guy who's feeling this 11-game stretch. He's worn out like a lot of guys are. Didn't know if he was going to be in the lineup today, ready for a day off. But he comes out, makes a huge hustle play early on to save what could have been extra bases easily.
And now the batter, Joe Wainhouse. Wainhouse fouls the first pitch from Michael Fairchild back there, but J.J. Wagner really got a hold of that one. And Caden Owens saying, "Not today, sir."
He's one of those guys who, Owens, he's still getting his breath back from, playing so much and didn't have much playing time at Oral Roberts this year due to injury, so he's really getting his legs under him still.
And that's grounded back to Michael Fairchild. He's going to make the quick toss to his Azusa Pacific teammate, Michael Staudinger, for the third out of the inning. So now, in the middle of two, we are still tied up at 0, a 1-2-3 inning for Michael Fairchild. And the Chinooks coming in with a team ERA of 2.04. And after a couple of tough losses, and Garrett, last night was almost a disheartening loss.
Yeah, I got to talk to starting pitcher Grant Page a little bit after that game, after our Fred Meyer feast that we had over at Matsu. And it's just one of those, you look at Grant and, the one thing about me and Grant have a little connection because, I think we're the only people here under 6 feet tall. So
highly true.
So I talked to Grant real quick. I'm like, man, how upset are you right now? And he's like, hey, there's not much you can do. You go out there, you pitch 6 strong innings and you just don't get any runs. But you know what? He's like, I did my job and we had enough guys on base to win that ball game. It just wasn't in the cards tonight. But Another strong start from Grant Page and Michael Fairchild turning around, doing it again. This rotation for the Chinooks, as Andrew, as we've well documented throughout the season already, just lights out all season so far.
Oh, and absolutely. In terms of Grant Page, wins and losses are one thing, but we come here in the summer to get better as baseball players and get better as men, and Grant Page has been thriving since his arrival in Chugiak. The first pitch here to Caden Owens, who might still be out of breath after tracking down that long fly ball from J.J. Wagner. And he takes again, now the count 2-0. Caden Owens comes into the game batting .257. The pitch taken on the outside, ball 3. So Caden Owens getting ahead in this count, 3-0. And Owens on the year against the Glacier Pilots is batting .300. The 3-0 pitch to Caden Owens, taken on the outside, ball 4, and the Chinooks have the leadoff runner on here in the the bottom of the second inning. And that's going to bring up Holt Davis. Holt Davis probably had his at-bat of the year last time the Chinooks took on the Pilots when he banged a triple that drove in a run to take the lead for the Chinooks. And now the former Rochester Ridgeman steps up to the plate. The first pitch to Holt Davis taken in there for a called strike. Davis comes into this game batting .250. Patrick Schneiders sets, and Caden Owens goes. The throw to second, not in time, and Caden Owens in there with a steal. And if you thought that guy was tired from tracking down that could have been triple from J.J. Wagner, think again.
Yep. His 5th stolen base of the year. Big hustle play right there.
Caden Owens grabbing his, like Garrett said, 5th stolen base of the year. The pitch to Holt Davis is fouled off.
One thing I think looks like Jordan Vera's not going to sit around and wait for things to develop. He's going to get as many runs on the board as he can quickly tonight.
Oh, absolutely. And like we said, Garrett, they kind of went away from the small ball over the 3-game losing streak, and that's kind of how this team is going to be successful. Dominant pitching and smart batting. And as I say that, Caden Owens advances to third on a pass ball from Gunnar Troutwine. The count moves to 2-2 on Holt Davis, and now the Chinooks, a runner on third with no outs, trying to break this scoreless streak. And let me tell you, Garrett, if they can't get Caden in here, that would be something of a travesty.
It'd be gut-wrenching for sure. Nobody out and a runner at third. Got to find a way to get him home.
2-2 to Holt Davis. Holt Davis fouls that one back into the screen. We're going to do it again. And the public address announcer giving a little love to Ty Beck, the man of many nicknames. 2-2. Taking on the outside, ball 3. A good eye there from Holt Davis, the designated hitter out of the University of Alabama, Birmingham. And the count full. The pitch fouled up way out by Holt Davis. So now the count full, and a long fly ball here will score the first run of the game for the Chinooks. The pitch, and speaking of a long fly ball, digging in there is Joe Maroney, and Caden Owens cannot advance on that one as that pitch was a little too shallow. And Maroney, the left fielder out of Kansas, relaying it quickly, and Caden Owens saw right away that this was not the opportunity where he was going to score. So mark it as an F7 in your books, folks. One down here, a runner at third base represented in Caden Owens. And now the batter, Caleb Potter. Potter comes into this game batting .200 out of the University of West Virginia, and Potter fouls that one off down the right field line. Caleb Potter playing in a couple consecutive games now in left field. The pitch, and Potter gets a hold of that one And in about the same spot, and Joe Maroney is going to make the throw to home. And Caden Owens hustles in there, and the throw is just off the mark. And a sacrifice fly from Caleb Potter brings in Caden Owens. For the first run of this ball game, the Chinooks take the lead by a score of 1-0.
A big one right there. Snaps that streak of 24 scoreless innings now.
And for the Chinooks morale, they really needed that one. And now steps in David Morton. David Morton hitting the last 2 games. The pitcher today for staff and coaches batting practice. And let me tell you, me and Garrett showed him why he stopped pitching after middle school. The 0-1 pitch to Dave Morton.
Well, I did.
Hey, Garrett, I got a hold of a couple of them. Now, Garrett, a much more accomplished baseball player than me.
I tried to be.
The 1-1 pitch to Dave Morton. And Morton rips that one, but caught by an extension there from the first baseman, Kevin Veers, to end the second inning. A tough go there for Dave Morton. But after 2, the Chinooks get the first run of the ball game on a Caleb Potter sacrifice fly. The score 1-0 in favor of the Fish. We'll be right back here for the top of the third. You are listening to Chinooks Radio. Back here for the top of the third, Andrew Alex alongside Garrett Mainsfield. And the batter for the Anchorage Glacier Pilots will be Kyle Watson. The first pitch to Watson. Taking ball 1 as Watson was showing bunt there. Kyle Watson out of Ole Miss. The pitch from Michael Fairchild taken low and away, ball 2. So Kyle Watson quickly gets ahead in the count, 2-0 against Michael Fairchild. Fairchild, the 2-0, he deals. Low and away, ball 3. And in a very un-Michael Fairchild fashion, Michael Fairchild falling behind, 3-0 in the count here. 3-0 in there for a called strike.
Yeah, this is a guy, Kyle Watson. I wouldn't mind seeing him go right at. He's hitting 121. Granted,
and that he does, Garrett.
Granted he's a freshman at Ole Miss, but you know what?
If he's
Why
struggling,
not?
He's struggling. The 3-2 pitch. Oh, just missed there. Michael Fairchild tries to go inside corner and just a bit outside. So Kyle Watson on with a walk.
Another scoring note back in the first inning that hit the third base by Carson Kreitz that we had as an error originally will go down as a base hit. So just a minor scoring change for that one.
All right, so a minor scoring change there, folks. So there was no no-hitter in play here for Michael Fairchild. So both teams with one hit apiece, and the Chinooks lead by a score of 1-0. The pitch. In there for a called strike. Now the opponent here is Joe Maroney, out of the University of Kansas. Spent last season in the Texas Collegiate League. And he is getting off to quite a slow start here in the ABL. As he takes there in the dirt, low and away, ball one. Maroney batting just 0-77.
Yep, just 1 for 13.
And here's a guy that trying to get back on track here against the Chinooks. The pitch, and Kyle Watson goes to third to second base. Will pass is going to be in time. He got him. The Filipino phenom Andrew Ma gets him on the stolen base attempt. And the crowd cheers as Magi, a great catcher behind the plate. Now the count 2-1 here on Joe Maroney. And Maroney grounds that one to the shortstop, Hunter Hanks. Hanks muffs it, and the third at first is going to be not in time. The crowd not happy about that one.
Batting for the Pilots, number 6, Luke Hamlin.
So now the batter is going to be Luke Hamlin. Hamlin, his first time up, struck out, swinging at the hands of Michael Fairchild. The pitch from Fairchild misses low and away, ball one. And the Joe Maroney hit will be marked as an error on Hunter Hanks in our scorebooks. Swing and a miss there from Luke Hamlin. And the crowd cheering on the veteran Fairchild as he tries to get through his third inning of work scoreless here. The Chinooks with a 1-0 lead, 1 ball, 1 strike, and a broken bat flies up there and towards Michael Staudinger. Staudinger, of course, all right, didn't get within 5 feet of his actual body, but
Didn't even get halfway up the first base line.
so Luke Hamlin's going to go back to the Pilots dugout and get a new bat here with the count 1-2. Now, Joe Maroney went for the steal attempt on that one before the foul ball. So the Pilots trying to make as the Chinooks did and advance through small ball, try to get a run. And the pickoff attempt to first base, not in time from Michael Fairchild. Fairchild brushes dust off the mound. Fairchild sets, delivers, and that's ripped into center field. Caden Owens there to grab it. But a base hit for Luke Hamlin, just the second of the day for the Pilots. So now runners at first and second, 1 out here in a game that the Chinooks lead by a score of 1-0, and the batter will be Carson Kreitz. Kreitz, his last time up, singled, representing the only other hit of the day for the Anchorage Glacier Pilots. The first pitch in the dirt, ball one. Slips away from Andrew Mogg, but Mogg chases to get under it there, preventing an advance from Maroney at second base. And just by the way that the Pilots are playing Maroney, you can tell this guy is a base path threat. Fairchild looks to second, sets, delivers. Popped foul, out of play, moves the count to 1-1.
Jones Financial Investments.
Of course, foul balls here at Lee Jordan Field, brought to you by Gavin Reeve of Edward Jones Financial Investments. Yay, Gavin. Fairchild takes the sign from catcher Andrew Mogg, shakes him off there. And time is called as Fairchild taking just a little too long to make a decision. And Andrew Mogg is going to go out to the mound to talk to his pitcher. And after a quick conversation, Mogg retreats to behind the plate. So the count, 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out here, top third. Runners stand at first and second base. And Fairchild steps off. Fairchild very aware and being pretty conservative about the runner at second base, Joe Maroney. The pitch. Maroney takes a big lead from second base as that ball sails into the dirt. So the count 2-1. And the Glacier Pilots trying not to strand anyone in scoring position here. It has been an ailment for them, just as it has been the Chinooks. Not as much yesterday, but 2 days ago against the Matsu Miners back here at Lee Jordan, it was a problem. And Michael Fairchild does a little fake throw, keeping Joe Maroney on his toes there at second base.
Yeah, he and Will Bass are really working the runner well. Wouldn't be surprised if he went back at it again.
The count 2-1, the pitch. And that's going to round, and rounding third is Joe Maroney, and he's going to be in home safe. Stop. And sorry about that, folks. The bullpen of the Chinooks having a little too much fun with a laser pointer, pointing it towards my eye. I actually literally missed that play, but a single into left field from Carson Crites drives in the first run of the game for the Anchorage Glacier Pilots. And the count back to 0-0 here against Eugene Vasquez in a game tied 1-1 between the Pilots and the Chinooks. The first ball swing and a miss. So the count 0-1 here on Eugene Vasquez. The first time up, Vasquez flew out to right field. And now runners at first and second with 1 out here. The pitch, and that's looped into right field. Braxton Wilkes there to grab it, grounding third. And the play at the plate, there will be no play at the plate as Luke Hamblin comes in to score, and now the Glacier Pilots lead by a score of 2-0 off a little bloop single from Eugene Vasquez, and now 3 straight base hits for the Anchorage Glacier Pilots. And now the batter, Kevin Veers. And this is, Garrett, the most trouble that Michael Fairchild's had in really any game so far this season.
Yeah, I mean, outside of 3 runs he allowed in his last start.
The pitch. Taken on the outside, ball 1. So 2 runs allowed here already in the top of the third by Michael Fairchild. Runners at first and third for the Anchorage Glacier Pilots. The pitch from Fairchild is hit deeply into the gap in right center field, and that's in for a base hit. And that's going to extend all the way for a triple here. And that's going to score 2 runs for the Anchorage Glacier Pilots, who now lead by a score of 4-1. And Michael Fairchild having some serious trouble here in the top
Batting for the Pilots, number 30, Gunner
of the
Troutwine.
third inning. And now the batter will be Gunner Troutwine after a stand-up triple. And out to have a talk at the mound with Michael Fairchild, his pitching coach, Chris Beck. And the Chinooks looking to mount some kind of comeback here. But the inning to begin with. Kyle Watson on with a walk, but caught stealing at second base. Then Joe Maroney got on with an error. Luke Hamblin with a single. Carson Cridy singled. Eugene Vasquez singled. And then a triple from Kevin Veers. And overall, that plates 4 runs for the Anchorage Glacier Pilots. Still just 1 out and a runner at third base. The batter is Gunner Troutwine. Troutwine, his first time up, which came back in the last inning. He flew out to the first baseman, Michael Staldinger, but the first pitch to Gunner Troutwine in there for a called strike. The 0-1. Swing and a miss. So Michael Fairchild hopefully is back in the zone here as he looks to wiggle his way out of this inning. And that is blooped into the glove of second baseman Will Bass, and Gunner Troutwine smashes his bat.
Definitely sounded like he broke it on the way through.
Oh, absolutely. And looking at the bat boy for the Pilots grabbing it, he
Two different
shattered
pieces.
that one. So now 2 down here in the top of the third inning. The batter is J.J. Wagner. Wagner really got a hold of one his last time up, but Caden Owens prevented that from being a triple as he tracked it all the way to the wall. 0-1. Swing and a miss, and now once again, Michael Fairchild's ahead in the count. 0-2.
Magical what it forces hitters to do when you can get ahead as a pitcher. Last 2 guys called for strikes and blew the next one right by him as well.
The 0-2 pitch, taken low and away, ball 1. So the count 1-2 now. And both teams fairly well represented here tonight. The pitch, a curveball in the dirt inside. Michael Fairchild evens the count at 2-2 against J.J. Wagner, the third baseman out of the University of the Pacific. Two-two. Popped up sky high out of play.
And that foul ball sponsored by the Chinook Shack.
So J.J. Wagner staying alive here in this at-bat. Trying to extend the Anchorage Glacier Pilot lead. The 2-2 pitch. Popped up out of play again, foul ball.
And that foul ball sponsored by Gavin Reeve of Edward Jones Financial Investments.
And now through just 2 2/3 innings, Michael Fairchild already having thrown 60 pitches. This will be pitch number 60. The pitch, taken low and away, ball 1 or ball 3. So the count is full here. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs in the bottom or in the top of the third inning. Fairchild's pitch. Swing and a miss. He got him. Strike 3 for the third out of the inning there, but the Pilots score 4 runs in the top of the third. We're going to step off for just a second here, but we'll be right back with you for the bottom of the third inning.
Gift card to this number 866-392-8
And we're back here from Lee Jordan Field for the bottom of the third inning.
Number 8, Hunter Hanks.
And the batter is Hunter Hanks. Hunter Hanks comes to the game batting 189. Hanks takes the first ball. But Hunter Hanks yesterday hit one of the best balls we've seen him hit so far. And Hanks pops that one up, a fly ball into left field. Under it is the left fielder, Joe Maroney, to make the first out of the inning. And now back to the top of the order we go with Will Bass. One out here in the bottom of the third inning. The Glacier Pilots lead by a score of 4-1. Will Bass, his first time up, went down swinging. The pitch. And that's a pop fly. The center fielder, Hamblin, under it. So it took just one pitch to retire Will Bass for the second out of the inning. And now that's going to bring up Braxton Wilkes. Braxton Wilkes, his first time up, he flew out to left field. Wilkes 1 for 8 on his Chinook career against the Glacier Pilots. The pitch to Braxton. In there for a called strike one. The count 0-1. And Braxton Wilkes, ready for the 0-1 pitch, fouls it back into the screen, so Braxton Wilkes quickly falls behind in this count 0-2. And the Chinooks looking for some offense here as, in a rare occasion, surrendering 4 runs here. Already in the bottom of the third. The pitch to Braxton Wilkes fouled off. Out of play, third base side. But a very un-Michael Fairchild-like top of the third inning. The 0-2. And Wilkes lines that one into center field. Chasing it is the center fielder, Luke Hamblin, makes the grab for the third out of the inning. So after 3 innings of play, the Chinooks trail by a score of 4-1. We're going to step off for just a second here, but you stay tuned. You are listening to Chinooks Radio.
Michael Fairchild back on the mound here in the top of the fourth inning, as the Glacier Pilots hold on to a 4-1 lead over the Chinooks through the first 3 innings. Stepping in, big left-handed hitting designated hitter Joe Wainhouse out of Ole Miss. Wainhouse, he's just 1 for 6 with a couple RBIs. That one hit was a big one, however, on Wednesday night to bring home the winning runs for the Glacier Pilots. He tattoos one past Will Bass at second base into right field for a single, so he wasn't wasting any time getting aboard on the first pitch off of Fairchild here in the fourth. Kyle Watson will dig back in. Walkden was caught stealing back in the third inning. That was the leadoff last inning Looked like it was going to be a very promising one, and then the Glacier Pilots erupted for 4. First offering is down and low from Fairchild. Watson also a Rebel at Ole Miss, taking his freshman year this past season. The 1-0 from Fairchild is in the zone for a strike. Watson played in 55 games as a freshman, starting 38. Pretty impressive at that university. Here's the 1-1 to him. He fouls it straight back. Makes it 1-2. But Ole Miss, they were 30-28 a year after a great run in the College World Series in 2014. A lot of young guys playing on that club now this year. Lost a lot. Swing and a miss. It's in the dirt. Andrew Moggs got it. The runner advancing is Wayne House. And he'll get away on the pitch in the dirt, but the strikeout.
And that almost looked to be interference.
And we'll get a conversation here at home plate between Jordan Vieira as Andrew Mogg, he kind of blocked it in front of him. He had to grab it from the dirt to throw down to second, but don't know if the conversation's going to really get anywhere at this point, since Wayne House is already at second. Field umpire didn't give it the call either.
And that's a tough call against the Chinooks there.
Joe Maroney's going to hit next for Kansas. Joe Maroney reached on an error, came around and scored that first run back in the top of the third. Chinooks still trailing 4-1. And this one really looking for some offense. They've gotten one run out of the most of one hit. Cade Owens led off the second and advanced on a stolen base on a pass ball and came home on a sac fly. So Jordan Vieira still having some words with our home plate umpire here this evening. Gives us a chance to remind you that the Chinooks are going to be right back here at home with the Matsu Miners tomorrow. It'll be an afternoon game, 4 p.m. first pitch, as will every Sunday game for the rest of the year that's played here at Loretta French Park. That's 4 p.m. start between the Miners and the Chinooks, and Jordan Vieira is going to be tossed from this ballgame as he's still having his conversation here, going to make sure his words are known to the home plate umpire, is still looking for that interference call. But apart from that, Chinooks will be with the Miners the next 4 nights after this game with the Pilots. Miners at 4 p.m. on Sunday, then 7 p.m. at the Miners Monday, and then back here at Loretta French on Tuesday and Wednesday. So Jordan Vieira will be asked to head back to the coach's locker room.
And a pretty respectable effort there by Jordan Vieira, arguing what he believes was the call. Unfortunately, sometimes when you talk like that, your game ends a couple innings early, Gare.
So Joe Maroney finally will take his at-bat. 1 gone, top of inning number 4. And that's the second time we've seen a manager tossed already this year. And, of course, Mike Grahovic of the Anchorage Bucks last weekend. And Jordan could only sit through for a couple innings tonight, so he'll hit the showers early.
So who takes over the full managerial position here now, Garrett? With Jordan not being able to, you think Chris or?
Well, it'd be Chris. Most likely Chris Beck. He's the one that makes all the pitching calls, so now he'll do the rest of it. But, of course, superb assistant coaches for the Chinooks. Bench coach Cody Crutcher. And then Taylor White down at first base. First offering to Maroney. He pops this one up. Right side, shallow right field. Coming near the line is Braxton Wilkes. He makes the grab. The runner at second, Joe Maroney, back. So all of that waiting for Joe Maroney. Swings at the first pitch and a weak fly out. So 2 down for Luke Hamblin, who singled and came around to score last inning. And hopefully that spark of emotion from Jordan Vieira will have a effect on the offense and get them rolling a little bit in a 3-run hole. They really came from behind a couple nights ago against the Glacier Pilots right here at Loretta French. That pitch misses high and outside to Luke Hamblin.
We can all remember a couple of times, I think it was against the Gold Panners and the Bucks.
Yep.
They came from 3-4 run deficits, came back to win.
They are definitely capable of it. Here's the 1-0. Hamblin takes that one just off the outside corner for a ball. Hamblin, a .256 hitter entering play. A 1-for-2 afternoon or evening so far. Fairchild. Here's his 2-0. And that's going to be on the outside corner for a strike. 4-1 Glacier Pilots. We're in the top of the 4th inning. Hamblin will be heading from Grayson to Central Florida in the fall. Hits that one weakly in the air to shallow center field. Caden Owens charging in from center field. Lays out and makes a fantastic play in center field to retire the Glacier Pilots in the 4th. And of course, tonight's ball game sponsored by the Alaska Club, as it is Cancer Awareness Night here at Loretta French Park. All sorts of stuff going on. Martin Lindick of Chugiak is just to the left, or just to the right, that is, of the score shack here behind home plate on a treadmill provided by the Alaska Club. He's been running since the first pitch, and he will be trucking all night long on that one. Got a good pace going. Of course, he's doing his deeds for Project Purple for pancreatic cancer. But on that note, the Alaska Club also sponsoring the scoreboard update from around the Alaska Baseball League. We're in the 5th inning at Mulcahy Field. The Anchorage Bucks, Seattle Studs, they are still scoreless. The last night of action for the Pacific Independent League, as the Studs and the Everett Merchants will kick it back to Washington after tonight's games. And all league action from here on out. Glacier Pilots and Chinooks, the only other game going on as we head to the bottom of the 4th. A 4-1 lead for the Glacier Pilots in this one. Everybody else is off. So the Chinooks will see a yet another well-rested Matsu Miners team tomorrow. Andrew Mogg stands in to face Pat Schneider's pitching a pretty good game, and Moggy puts that one right back up the middle. The second baseman, Kreitz, had a nice bare hand grab and throw, but it won't be in time, so it's going to be an infield single for Andrew Mogg.
And Mogg swinging the bat real well so far here today. Those are 2 of the best hit balls we've seen from him all year.
Yep, outside of his
of course,
couple taters he's got on the season as well. Michael Staudinger with a runner aboard. Nobody out. Bottom of the 4th inning, the Chinooks trying to climb back in this one. They're down 4-1. Mogg away from first base. The pitch from Schneider's outside corner for a strike. Pat Schneider's coming from the University of Evansville in Evansville, Indiana, a part of the Missouri Valley Conference. The 1-1 to Staudinger in the dirt, 2-1. He had a 2-6 season for the Purple Aces, a 6.88 ERA. And then with the Glacier Pilots, no record, 4 runs. 3 of them earned with a 3.88 ERA. He's only averaging 4 innings a start, and this is the 4th inning. Staudinger bounces it towards short. The third baseman, J.J. Wagner, has it to second for 1, and Kreitz drops the relay. So that'll go down. Fielder's choice on him.
Now batting for your Chinooks, number 22, Caden Owen.
Brings up Caden Owens. Owens walked and scored his last time around. So Staudinger, the new runner at first base for the Chinooks, 1 gone. Schneider delivers home outside for a ball. Patrick Schneiders. Also had 2 saves with Evansville. But gets the start for the Glacier Pilots today. Hasn't had to work too hard. 48 pitches for him through this one. The 1-0 outside to Caden Owens for ball 2. His only walk, actually his only base runners would be the 2 hits from Andrew Mogg and then Caden Owens. Owens out of Oral Roberts. A left-handed hitting center fielder. He's had a pretty good day out in the field. He waves at that 2-0 pitch from Schneiders. As the Chinooks are trying to get back into the winners column. They've been shut out the last 2 nights by the Miners. Lost a tough one here at home on Wednesday to the Pilots. That's fouled off by Owens. Evens up the count at 2-2. 4 runs, 6 hits for the Glacier Pilots. A run on 2 hits and an error for the Chinooks on their side. Their 1 run came in the second. Holt Davis will hit next, barring a double play ball. Here's the 2-2 to Owens. He bangs that ball foul to the third base side and out of play.
And that foul ball sponsored by the Chinooks side.
Yeah.
And Andrew, to answer your question, Taylor White has taken over at third base. Cody Crutcher coaching at first right now. So we'll see how that all shakes out
Interesting.
in terms of who owns the lineup card for right now. But just semantics at this point. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Caden Owens downstairs for ball 3.
And those guys all work so well together. It's kind of like a well-oiled machine. This isn't going to phase that staff at all.
Full count now on Caden Owens. 1 gone. Schneider's coming set. The payoff pitch banged foul to the left side again for Caden Owens. Extending the at-bat. Making Schneider's work for this one. Runner at first and Michael Stodinger. Reach on a fielder's choice. Schneider's working out of the stretch. Gunnar Troutwine behind the plate, giving him the signs. He's ready. Here's the payoff pitch. And that's swung on, line towards center. Leaping into the air is Carson Kreitz to make a athletic play on the middle of the infield. Second out of the inning goes to Caden Owens.
It's just one of those baseball things, right? You can really get a hold of the ball right there, and that's exactly what you're supposed to do. And unfortunately, the leaping Carson Kreitz robbed him of a hit. It's a tough one, and that happened to Caden Owens a couple times yesterday in key situations. So he's doing all the right things, and eventually, hopefully, it'll pay off.
Holt Davis hitting with 2 outs here for the Chinooks. He waves at the first pitch he sees. Holt Davis at a UAB. A native of Lawrenceville, Georgia. Of course, born in Seoul, South Korea. Swings and misses it. The 0-1 pitch, down 0-2 already. There's UAB, teammates with Matt Ferrudo and a future teammate with Luke Eichste. Luke will head to UAB in the fall. 0-2 the count on Davis here, this pitch, and the dirt blocked by Troutwine.
And you were saying yesterday, Garrett, with the at least current absence of Cam Baronic, look for Luke Eichste to play some more in the field, potentially out there in the outfield.
Yep. Wouldn't be surprised by now, but Cameron looks to be getting around pretty well the last couple of days. 1-2, and Davis tries to hold up, but he goes around swinging, and that'll be the third out of the bottom of the 4th inning. Glacier Pilots holding a 4-1 lead over the Chinooks. We'll be right back on for the top of the 5th on Chinooks Radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Cancer Awareness.
Top of inning number 5. Coming is Carson Kreitz, Eugene Vasquez, Kevin Veers due up for the Glacier Pilots.
Number 5, Carson Kreitz.
And Carson Kreitz digging in from the right side. He does have a single, an RBI to his credit so far. As Michael Fairchild back out for his 5th inning of work. The first offering from him hits the outer edge for a strike to begin the at-bat. And now Fairchild starting to really lock in. Despite the 4-run 3rd inning the Pilots had against him. And Fairchild with an 0-1 count. The pitch to Kreitz. That's just off the inside part of the plate. Makes it a ball and a strike. Glacier Pilots hitting 186 as a team coming into play today. It's the worst mark in the league, but they were able to string together 4 straight hits to score 4 runs. Kreitz on the ground to third. Dave Morton up with it. The Xavier Musketeer flings that one across the diamond for out number 1, and that's how the top of the 5th gets underway. Bringing up Eugene Vasquez out of UCF. Vasquez will be a junior a year from now. Hit 7 home runs, 38 RBIs for the Knights. Several guys in this league representing Central Florida. That one's in the zone for a ruled strike number 1. Matt Diorio, Trent Thompson of the Matsu Miners go to UCF.
Matt Diorio, a monster.
That one's fouled back from Vasquez, so he's quickly down 0-2. Vasquez ripped a single to right his last time around, after Fairchild was ahead of him with 2 strikes on that at-bat as well. Vasquez is 2 of 6 against the Chinooks coming into play. Hitting .310 on the year, one of the few Glacier Pilots with presence at the plate so far this year. Here's the 0-2 pitch from Fairchild in the dirt. Gets away from Mogg, but nobody aboard, so no trouble there. Makes it a 1-2 count. The Chinooks and the Miners and the Glacier Pilots all in that national division of the ABL. 1-2 pitch from Fairchild misses away 2-2. Glacier Pilots at the bottom, but they're just 2.5 behind the Chinooks. Big game for them here. 2-2 pitch from Fairchild away again, full count. And now the Chinooks, after winning 8 straight, after starting 0-2, have lost 3 in a row. They were tied and actually had sole possession of first place at one point. Beginning of the week, that is. Vasquez swings and misses at the payoff pitch. Down on strikes for the second out of the inning.
And kind of unfortunate, Garrett, just Michael Fairchild, you can see when he's rolling how good of a pitcher he is, the pitcher that we've seen over his previous start. Just, 4 batters in a row in the 3rd inning really are going to, in the box score, make it look like it was a very negative start for him, whereas it was just a blip on the radar, which unfortunately
really
is going to cost him.
Really, the only blip was that 1 inning, and you take away that chunk of the scorebook, and had a very, very good start. But 1-0 to begin the at-bat with Kevin Veers. Here's the 1-0 away, 2-0. Kevin Veers had the big 2-run triple. That was the big knock in that inning, but he was stranded at third base after Fairchild came back with a couple of strong at-bats. Veers fouls that one back behind the plate. Kevin Veers hit 6 home runs with the Glacier Pilots last summer, drove in 29, having a very good start to his second tour in Alaska. That one's on the ground hard, and that'll get into center field for another base hit for Kevin Veers, and he continues to be on a tear. Second hit of the day for Kevin Veers, 7th for the Glacier Pilots as they have a 4-1 lead. Now Gunnar Troutwine to face Michael Fairchild with 2 outs. Seems to be like nothing you can figure out against Kevin Veers. He's just going to keep hitting. Gunnar Troutwine, a freshman at Wichita State. Fairchild checked Veers at first base. He's back in time. Troutwine tried to stand back in for his first pitch, but Fairchild another throw over, keeping him close. Couple of flyouts for Troutwine so far. Fairchild, the first offering, runner goes, and Troutwine fouls the first pitch back. Fairway, Kansas. That's where Gunnar Troutwine calls home. The Shockers at Wichita State, more notably for their basketball program as of late, but Troutwine, one of the guys on the diamond here in the ABL. 0-1 from Fairchild is in the zone.
And of course,
Troutwine takes.
Wichita State producing current Minnesota Twin, former Anchorage Glacier pilot Mike Pelfrey.
Mm-hmm. Here's the 0-2 pitch in the dirt, blocked by Andrew Mogg. And Fairchild with a 1-2 count against Troutwine. Kevin Veers not really going anywhere at first. Off to a short lead. Fairchild is ready. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Troutwine. High and outside, 2-2. So Fairchild with a 1-1 record coming into today's game, getting his third official start. Of course, the season opener against the Matsu Miners on June the 12th. A little bit of a lineup mix-up made him technically come in relief. 2-2 misses downstairs, 3-2. Gunnar Troutwine working the count back full. So Veers will get a head start at first base. Fairchild is ready. The payoff pitch swung on grounder towards second base. Will Bassett gets under his mitt into right field. That'll be a base hit. And Will Bass will corral it from the right fielder on the third base is Kevin Veers. So first and third, 2 out, and a gift to Gunnar Troutwine, extending this inning. Brings up J.J. Wagner out of the University of the Pacific. Another returning Glacier pilot, hitting a .171. Wagner will be a senior at Pacific. Takes the first pitch outer edge from Michael Fairchild for a strike. A year ago, Wagner really didn't perform any better than he is right now. Hit 194 in 2014 with the Glacier Pilots. 0-1 from Fairchild. Breaking ball misses downstairs. 8 base hits for the Glacier Pilots in this one. They have a 4-1 lead over the Chinooks, who have just mustered 2 hits off of Pat Schneider's. Here's the 1-1 from Fairchild. Outer edge called strike 2. So Wagner struck out to end the third inning. In danger of going down on strikes for the second time tonight. Fairchild with 4 other strikeouts. The 1-2, just a bit outside, didn't miss by much. Fairchild would dig back up there. Really laboring.
I wouldn't be surprised if this is his last inning of work.
Yep, up over 90 pitches now. The 2-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Mogg will drop the third strike and throw on to first to complete it. And that retires the side in the 5th for the Glacier Pilots. Chinooks coming to bat in just a recap of the middle innings here. Of course, we had having Cancer Awareness Night. Danielle Beck, the wife of GM and pitching coach Chris Beck, was able to organize a similar to a stand-up to cancer kind of event, and players and umpires and all the fans tonight were able to hold up cards for the people that represented or that that mean most to them, that because we've all had somebody in our lives affected by cancer in some way, shape, or form. And for me, held up mine for my Aunt Bev, as well as Marie Miller, the mother of my girlfriend Carlina Miller. And want to give a shout out to the whole Miller family listening from Montpelier, Ohio tonight. Miss and love you all. And Andrew, I know a very heartfelt moment for you and your friend Willie D.
Very, very special moment. And, when cancer touches lives individually, it kind of proves the strength and the determination that we all have as individuals, especially those affected and the families. And, Will is, even when life has made it look like it'd be so easy for him to quit and just to complain and to say, like, why God? But he has not once complained, and he is the happiest kid I have ever met, and I love him until the day I die and beyond. It's just, very heartfelt moment for me.
Chinooks looking to fish on here in the 5th inning. Caleb Potter takes the first pitch from Schneider's inside corner, strike one. Caleb Potter out of West Virginia. Teammates at West Virginia with former Chinook Jackson Kramer, who had a tremendous year for the Mountaineers. There's strike two inside part of the plate again to Potter. Potter from Mentor, Ohio, near the Cleveland area. The 0-2 in the dirt, blocked by Troutwine, makes it a 1-2 count. Schneider's working out of the windup. Here's the 1-2, and Potter fouls that one off to the right side and out of play. Keeps it a 1-2 count. Dave Morton, Hunter Hanks will be the next guys due up for the Chinooks in this inning before Will Bass can get to the top again. 2-2 to Potter. Swung on. Just did get a piece of it. He bounced off at the plate.
Talk about staying alive in the at-bat. Potter just not sure there. Just sticking the bat out there, fouling it off, trying to wait to get one he likes.
So a 2-2 count on Potter. Here's the pitch from Schneider's. Swing and a miss. Gets away from the catcher, Troutwine. Potter away towards first base, and the throw from Troutwine is in time for out number one. So with an out, here comes Cincinnati native Dave Morton at a Xavier. Morton hit .279 with the Xavier Musketeers this past year, hitting .286 right now with the Chinooks. First offering from Schneider's. Breaking ball misses away, ball one. Of course, the Musketeers at Xavier didn't have the year they were hoping for. They were just 15-38. Swing and a miss by Morton makes it 1-1. Where he plays alongside 2014 Chinook Dan Perzini. Graduated from Xavier this year. 1-1 to Morton. Hits that ball the other way pretty hard towards the Chinooks bullpen. Nice catch by Shane Armstrong, protecting the bullpen down there along the left field line. So just 1 and 2 on Morton. One gone. Bottom of inning number 5. Chinooks just a run on 2 hits. They trail the Glacier Pilots by 3. Outside to Morton, 2-2. Goes the count. Just need some base runners. Amazing what you can do with them. Caden Owens walked to lead off the second, came around and scored. Basically creating his own offense. That's fouled off by Morton again. Makes it remain a 2-2 count. Having players like that is
and Caden's been the all-star of this game, basically saving the Chinooks 2 runs at least.
2-2, hit the other way towards third. Up with it is J.J. Wagner. It's going to go off his mitt. And Wagner committing the first error for the Glacier Pilots tonight. Dave Morton aboard with 1 out. And that'll bring up Hunter Hanks. Hanks hitting a .189 coming into play today. Also flew out to begin the third inning. Takes ball one way upstairs from Schneider's. Schneider's, if he finishes this inning, would be his longest outing of the year. Or would tie it, actually. Went 5 innings against the Miners his last time up. Inside, it gets away from the catcher, Troutwine, coming to the backstop. And Dave Morton will head to second base on the pass ball. 2-0 count on Hunter Hanks with a runner in scoring position now.
And now
all of a sudden,
do you
now
bunt famous Dave over? I'm not
now
sure.
really the struggle with offense.
I guess you can't rely on a.
Leave it to Hunter Hanks. He's got 5 RBIs on the year.
Yeah, no, I absolutely. Yep. You're in an interesting situation where your leadoff hitter is not hot.
I think.
So, a week ago, it would be no question we'd bunt him over. But
Taylor White over there at third base calling the signals. Should be letting Hanks swing away. Here's the 2-0 from Schneider's. The pitch inside the zone. Got it for a strike. Will Bass will hit next if Hanks can extend this inning. 1 gone for the Chinooks in the bottom of the 5th. They trail by a score of 4-1. Schneider's the pitch. Hanks pops that one up behind home plate. Troutwine gives it a look, and he's going to run out of room, and that ball will get out of play behind home plate. Pretty good crowd here tonight, and they are making themselves aware of each other. Down the lines here.
Both teams represented tonight.
A lot of stuff going on. Parking lot here at Loretta French is packed behind the right field fence. 2-2 on Hunter Hanks here. Schneider's the pitch. Just a bit outside. Good eye from Hunter Hanks to watch that one. Hanks will be a junior at Lipscomb in the fall. From Jacksonville, Florida. Here's the payoff pitch in the dirt. And we'll squirt up the first base line, but it'll be a walk for Hunter Hanks. And Will Bass with a pair of ducks on the pond.
Bass represents the tying run of this game.
Will Bass at a Wayland Baptist, the alma mater of former Chinooks broadcaster Jordan Herod. Jordan tuning in tonight. So I give a big Texas and Alaska hello to Jordan as he listens tonight. First offering to Will Bass, bang towards the left side of the infield. Could be trouble backhanding it. Is Kevin Beers to throw to first is going to be in time, but that'll advance the runners to second and third. So a 2-out at bat for Braxton Wilkes now. Of course, when Jordan played collegiately at Wayland Baptist, Will Bass was in about 7th grade, about junior high, playing for his dad, Brad Bass, at Wayland Baptist. Great connections all throughout this team, and it's amazing what happens when you come out to Alaska for a couple of summers, meet a lot of people that end up knowing each other. So 2 outs for Braxton Wilkes. Braxton Wilkes 0 for 2 today. Looking to give the Chinooks a couple of big runs. He swings, hits that one to the other way. Coming on the left fielder, Joe Maroney, and makes the sliding grab to make the out to retire the side in the 5th. We go to the 6th. Chinooks still trailing 4-1 to the Glacier Pilots. We go to the 6th. Chinooks trailing 4-1 to the Anchorage Glacier Pilots. New pitcher on the hill for the Chinooks is right-hander Luke Eigsty. Luke, a high school graduate this last year out of Scottsdale, Arizona, will attend UAB in the fall. Luke actually ranked the number 7 player in the state of Arizona. Actually clocked it 93 from the outfield at perfect game this last year. First offering is a ball to Joe Wainhouse. So he's faced with a load for his first hitter. Wainhouse hits that one the other way, left side of things, and will hit at a play. Luke Eichsey, fastball, curveball, changeup, slider. Will be an addition as a two-way player with the Chinooks, mostly been used out of the bullpen. 1-1 pitch to Wainhouse is taken away for ball 2. Luke Eigsty, the name that might sound familiar to some Chinook fans. Breaking ball in the zone. A lot of break on that curveball from Eigsty. Of course, his brother, Jared Eigsty, played with the AIA Fire back in 2011. Played in the first exhibition game between these two teams at Loretta French Park that helped make the decision to bring a team to Chugiak. Pitch misses low and away, ball 3. So a full count on Wainhouse to begin the at-bat for the top of the 6th inning. Eichsty's payoff pitch. Outside corner, just off the black for ball 4. So big Joe Wainhouse will head to first base on the walk. Eichsty on the year. No decisions. Still yet to give up an earned run in 4 innings of work in the regular season. Last worked June 21st against the Anchorage Bucks. First offering to Kyle Watson, misses high, ball 1. So official final line on Michael Fairchild, 5 innings of work, 4 runs, just 3 of them earned on 8 hits, 5 strikeouts, just 1 walk. 1-0 misses inside, 2-0. Now on Kyle Watson. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Inside again, 3-0 goes the count. So Eichsty with a strong start against Wainhouse ended up walking him, and now he's down 3-0 to Watson. See what he can do to work his way back. Here's a 3-0. Fires that one off the inside part of the plate, ball 4. So 2 walks to begin the inning for Luke Eichsty. Andrew Maughan quickly trots out to the mound to give him a chat. Action in the Chinooks bullpen already, as well as C.J. Lewington getting ready out there for the Chinooks. We are at the top of inning number 6. The Chinooks trailing 4-1 to the Anchorage Glacier Pilots. Pilots did everything in the top of the 3rd. With 4 straight hits. They get 4 runs. Squaring to bunt is Joe Maroney. He pulls back as the pitch misses inside from Luke Eigsty. Maroney reached on an error back in that 3rd inning and was the first run to score. Also flew out back in the 4th. Eigsty is ready, the 1-0. Squaring to bunt again, outside 2-0. So Eigsty throwing 9 straight balls here to begin the top of inning number 6. Kicks and fires home the 2-0, squaring the bunt. Did he go around? Did he pull back in time? Yes, he went. Swinging strike on Maroney makes it 2-1.
Finally getting something in there in the zone, and hopefully this will be able to turn around his confidence a little bit.
Maroney already squared The 2-1 drop down the third base line. Dave Morton barehand grab and throw to first, and nobody home. That's going to be up the right field line. Coming in is Joe Wainhouse to score. Around third is Watson, but he holds up at third base.
Batting for the Pilots, number 6, Luke Hamlin.
Comes Luke Hamblin. Taylor White going to come out, and looks like he's making a pitching change. And he will take the ball and turn for C.J. Lewington. Glacier Pilots have taken another run here to begin the top of the 6th inning. We'll step aside and get acquainted with our new pitcher as you're listening to Chinooks Radio. Z.J. Lewington is the new pitcher on for the Chinooks. 6'2", right-hander out of Calgary, Alberta, Canada. So C.J. to the hill to relieve his roommate this summer in Luke Eichstein. Luke with a pair of walks
Batting for the Pilots, number 6, Luke
and
Hamlin.
allowing a hitter to get aboard, and on an error, the second for the Chinooks on the night. So second and third, nobody out for the top of the order and Luke Hamblin. Lewington working only out of the stretch. Ball gets away from Andrew Mogg, and coming home is Kyle Watson to score the run. So wild pitch allowing the runners to advance.
And these errors, like over the course of the season, have costed the Chinooks. And no question, Gare, this has been a bad inning defensively.
1-0 from Lewington to Hamblin, and he fouls this one softly. Left side, working into fair ground. That's going to drop for a base hit. It's going to land in no man's land near the line. Scoring is Maroney.
And the woes continue for the Chinooks.
And that's going to make it 7-1 Glacier Pilots.
Number 5, Carson Prince.
Bloop single and an RBI for Hamblin. So that officially will close the book on Luke Eichstein. First offering to Carson Kreitz, safe softly in the air to right field. Under it is Braxton Wilkes, and he makes the catch for the first out of the inning.
And it has been a difficult one thus far.
Coming to the plate for the Pilots, number 12, Eugene Vasquez.
So Eugene Vasquez, runner at first base on the single. Vasquez 1 for 3, throw over, not in time by Lewington. So Eichste getting tagged with a pair of earned runs, 3 overall, and a couple of walks. First offering from Lewington, breaking ball, nips the outer edge to Vasquez. And back in the third inning, the Glacier Pilots grabbing 4 runs. That was all with just base hits, and Vasquez the first off the glove of Steininger towards second base. Will Bass can't come up with it either. An error on the first baseman, Steininger. As Vasquez aboard on the air by Steininger. Chinooks just coming unraveled here into the 6th inning.
Just a tough one. Honestly, kind of hard to watch.
7-1, Glacier Pilots on top. Lewington fires home inside, almost nipped him. Kevin Beers 2 for 3 on the day. Had the big triple back in the 3rd inning. Singled as well in the 5th. Lewington coming set, checking the runners at second. The 1-0 pitch swung on in the air, deep right field. Heading back is Braxton Wilkes near the line, and this will drop in for extra bases. Veers will hold up at second, and he will plate a couple of runs. 1 run comes home to score. Vasquez around third. He's going to be cutting a run down, and he's going to get back there safely. So Kevin Veers now just a home run short of the cycle here into the 6th inning. 8-1 Glacier Pilots, 4 more in the top of the 6th.
Garrett, the 8-game winning streak right now feels like an eternity away.
Pair of shutouts by the Matsu Miners the last 2 nights and a tough loss. And an 8-6 game against the Glacier Pilots here at home. Previous to that, first offering from Lewington misses low and away, ball 1.
But none of them had this feel. You know, in all those games, it was highly competitive, but this one is just – it's probably the least competitive game on either side that the Chinooks have played. They haven't beaten a team this badly yet either.
There's a strike from Lewington. Yeah, they really haven't – really the first that haven't shown up tonight so far.
It's tough.
1-1 the count for Lewington on Gunnar Troutwine. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball misses inside, 2-1. Chinooks actually had a 1-0 lead at one point. Tough, hard to remember that one. This was on the ground to second base. Will Bass has it, decides to take it the short way and get the runner at first base. The runners on the base paths advance, makes it 9-1. Glacier Pilots as Vasquez comes home to score. Now the 9th man to bat in the inning, and J.J. Wagner.
Now batting for the Pilots, number 19.
Now actually we're going to have a pinch hitter as it's Jack Lebowski to the plate. Lebowski pinch hitting for J.J. Wagner. Wagner 0 for 3, the only Glacier Pilot outside of Kyle Watson and Joe Maroney without hits today. First offering from Lewington misses outside for a ball.
It's just very surprising to me that the Chinooks can come into this game playing as well as they have, even in losses, at least from a pitching standpoint, and surrender 9 runs to a team that came into this game batting 186 as a team.
Yep, only averaging 2.7 runs a game, and with the ace on the mound, yet to boot. 2-0, outside 3-0.
And I do not know what went wrong today, but with 4 straight against the Matsu Miners coming up.
3-0, that's in the zone for a called strike to Lebowski.
It's going to be time to figure it out in a hurry or, pay the consequences in the standings.
Lewington is ready, the 3-1 to Lebowski. Swing and a miss. Brings the count back to full. Here's the payoff pitch. Lewington delivers, and that's fouled up at a plate to the right side.
Sponsored by the Chinook Shack.
Just 2 base hits in this inning and 5 runs on the board for the Pilots. Lewington's ready. And a payoff pitch again. Inside, misses, ball 4. Actually hit him on the arm. Ready to get another pinch hitter. For Joe Wainhouse this time. He'll be Alex Tuccio.
For the Pilots, number 23.
So Tuccio hitting just 400 for the Glacier Pilots in a reserve role. At a Sienna. First offering from Lewington is away, ball 1. Top of the 6th inning, a 9-1 ball game. Glacier Pilots cruising against the Chinooks tonight. 2-0 count to begin the at-bat against Tuccio. He's ready, the 2-0 in the zone, and the throw down, and the runner goes. In a 9-1 ball game, and you're stealing second base. Way to pump up your stats.
I don't like that at all.
The
Go ahead and steal third while you're at it.
Yeah.
2-1
the strike, or the count on Tuccio. Here's the pitch from Lewington. Upstairs, 3-1. Does have a base to work with. As Kyle Watson will hit next, he's 0 for 1 with a pair of walks. 3-1. Upstairs, ball 4. Base is loaded. And Chris Beck coming to the mound to talk with C.J. Lewington. And my, oh my, what do you salvage from this one, Andrew?
You take the feeling of what you're feeling right now. Remember how much you hate it. And going forward, try to never feel like that again. Because, we were talking to the Glacier Pilots radio guy today, and he said, we were talking about 1-0 losses, and he's like, I'd rather lose 12-1. And we agreed. I retract that agreement. This feels terrible. It's really too bad that the game, especially, in such an important spot in the Chinook season, we're trying to get games on the minors. But, Connor Menez going tomorrow. And hopefully he can put this team back on track.
First offering to Watson, grounded to third base. Diving there is Dave Morton. He comes up, throwing hard to first, off the line to Staudinger at first base. 1 run already scores. Here comes a second, and they're going to hold everybody up, second and third. Make it now
Maroney.
11-1 Glacier Pilots. And the third error of the inning.
And the ball slips past Andrew Mogg there, but the Pilots not advancing on that play. Probably out of respect.
A 6-run inning. Make it 7, actually. The 12th man to bat in Joe Maroney. 1-0 is the count on him. Lewington's ready. The pitch outside, 2-0. So on what was a somewhat narrow ball game, 3-1. What was a rally away from much different turnout as the Pilots have blown the door wide open on this one. Maroney hits that one in the shallow center field. Coming in is Caden Owens. He settles under it, and the inning is finally over. We're going to step aside and take a breather as you'll listen to the Chinooks radio as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning, an 11-1 ball game in favor of the Pilots. Andrew Mogg watches ball 1 from Pat Schneiders as the Chinooks trying to bounce back after a 7-run top of the 6th inning from the Glacier Pilots. And Mogg will call time on that one. There's ball 2 to Mogg. Schneiders is ready, the 2-0 pitch. Mogg watches that one again, 3-0. So all of a sudden, Pat Schneiders is sitting on the bench for what seemed like an eternity. Comes back out and having trouble throwing strikes, and he walks Andrew Mogg on 4 pitches to lead off the bottom of the 6th. Now, over that break, Andrew made a very good point to myself that Stephen Carkenny's ball club, last night the Helena Brewers, a former Chinook from last year in 2012, as Stottinger hits that one the other way to left, that's going to drop in for a base hit. So Chinooks at first and second to begin the bottom of inning number 6. A little rally going already, trying to get some runs back. Caden Owens will come to the plate. But the Helena Brewers were down by 9 runs. They were down 10-1 going into the 9th inning last night. Jason Carkenny ended up helping out with a 9-run inning. Actually hit a solo home run to tie the game. But then they lost in the bottom of that inning. But
tough one.
Done to see that this game can change in an instant. It only takes one big inning First offering to Caden Owens is downstairs for ball one. So Michael Staudinger collects the Chinooks' 4th hit of the game. 2 of them from Andrew Mogg.
It's just it's strange how the pace of the game changed. The Chinooks had the tying runner at the plate, and then suddenly the game's seemingly out of hand.
Make that their 3rd hit of the game. So between Mogg and Staudinger, that's all the Chinooks base hits. Here's the 1 run of the game, and Caden Owens, he's got a 2-0 count against Schneiders, but I would doubt Darren Westergaard lets this get too out of hand before he decides to go to the bullpen. And Owens pops that one up behind the plate. Makes it to a 2-1 count as it gets out of play. And for the Chinooks, I mean, their record against the division is not tremendous. That's how you win divisions, is beating the teams that were within them with you. 2-1 to Caden Owens. He hits that one to the left side and out of play again.
But you're right, Garrett. Beating the Gold Panthers is not going to have really any bearing on. It's the Miners and the Pilots. The Miners and the Pilots. You look at the schedule, it becomes evident who the enemy is.
Chinooks 2-5 against the division. Both wins against the Glacier Pilots. Pilots are 4-6 within the division. Not a bad mark. Owens grounds at first base side, just wide of the bag. Count remains 2-2. 11 runs, 10 base hits for the Anchorage Glacier Pilots. A run on 3 hits, 4 errors for the Chinooks. Knows to tell the story a little bit right there, but both of these clubs, I don't know what it is about playing at home. It seems to be a curse to be the home team between the Glacier Pilots and the Chinooks. Owens ground ball towards first. Lebowski has it to second for 1. The relay will not happen. So a fielder's choice getting Andrew Mogg to third.
Batting for your Chinooks, number 55, Holt Davis.
That brings up Holt Davis. Runners at the corners. Davis 0 for 2. First offering to him, and he bangs that ball foul behind the plate on the first offering. Ready to swing from the first pitch. Again, getting a look at the Alaska Baseball League scoreboard here in a second. Pitch low to Holt Davis. Makes it a 1-1 count. Bottom of the 9th inning in Anchorage. Still scoreless between the Bucks and the Seattle Studs.
Seattle Studs trying to go out with a W.
All league play from now on for all clubs. Here's the 1-1. Davis swings and misses that one. Goes down to 1-2. Of course, the Peninsula Oilers and the Alaska Gold Panthers have been 4-4 and 1-5 in their league marks as long as we can remember. Finally going back to league play tomorrow. They play each other. That's on the line towards second base. Up with it is the second baseman Kreitz. The relay to first is not in time. Thrown away by the shortstop, Kyle Watson. And Davis will hold there at first base. So another run comes in for the Chinooks. Cut into the lead a little bit.
Well, that's something. It's more runs than they scored against the Miners yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Caleb Potter swinging at the first pitch, and next offering, fouled off at the plate. Quickly 0-2.
And the Chinooks still waiting on Caleb Potter to get a hold of one and send one out. He had a handful of home runs at West Virginia this year in just his freshman year. Jackson Kramer, of course, also getting a hold of a number of balls there in Morganstown.
0-2, really looking for him to get going, and a bat in that order that, man, the bottom part of the order that really needs to get going. Schneider's the 0-2, swung on in the air, left side of play, giving it a look is Lebowski, and that'll get out of play. Jack Lebowski staying in at first base, and Kevin Beers makes the move to third after the pinch hitting situations in the top half of the sixth. But Pat Schneider's, as Potter grounds it to the left side, Beers has it to throw to first in time, and that retires the side. Chinooks get a run back, but they need at least 9 more to keep this one going. So after 6 innings, the Chinooks trailing by a score of 11-2. We'll be right back here on Chinooks Radio.
And we are in the top of the 7th inning here. Andrew Alex, Garrett Mansfield here in the booth. In a game that the Anchorage Glacier Pilots lead by a score of 11-2. And it looks like a pinch hitter. It's going to be Johnny Loker. And Loker takes the first pitch, fouls it down the third base line. The count 0-1. Loker out of Stanford. First at bat on the day. The pitch taken on the lower outside corner. Ball 1. The count 1-1 now. And the Chinooks struck first in this game, but a 4-run set in the top of the third and 7 in the top of the 6th, giving the Glacier Pilots a commanding lead in this contest. CJ Lewington still the pitcher for the Chinooks. The 1-2 pitch from CJ. And they get the appeal from the umpire, and they say he went. So Johnny Loker down on strikes at the hands of CJ Lewington.
Number 4.
And the line on CJ right now is 1 inning pitch, 2 hits, 4 runs, but none of them earned. And the first pitch to Kreitz.
At the plate for the Pilot is Corby Batesel.
Actually, check that out. Pinch hitter Corby Batesel. So they count 1-1 to him, as the Pilots seem to be substituting most of their starters out of this game. So the count 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out here in the top of the 7th inning. The Chinooks trail by a score of 11-2. The pitch, and that's lined into right field Braxton Wilkes there to grab it. So a hit for Kobe Batesel. And now the Pilots have a runner on first base with one out. So Eugene Vasquez up to the plate now. Vasquez on the day. 1 for 4. He struck out once. He scored twice and grabbed himself an RBI. The pitch to Vasquez taken upstairs, ball 1. Vasquez out of the University of Central Florida. A university in Orlando. Orlando being very close to the home of Hokies and Chinooks catcher Andrew Mogg. Eugene Vasquez takes the C.J. Lewington curveball on the outside. Now the count 2-0. And now the Chinooks trying to keep their way into this game. In what has been a lopsided contest. The C.J. Lewington fastball in there for a called strike 1. So the count moves to 2-1. And, this is a tough game, but, World Series champions will lose games by double digits sometimes. The Chinooks just down by 9 runs here as the count moves to 2-2 as Eugene Vasquez swings and misses there. So the count 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, a runner on first. The pitch. Upstairs, ball 3. And in the background, we can hear some military chant of some sort. Rings familiar with me as the Corps of Cadets at Virginia Tech often do things like this. The pitch from C.J. Lewington in there, ball 4. So now runners at first and second, 1 out here, and that's going to bring up the batter. Kevin Veers. Veers on the day. Veers on the day having a day. 3 for 4. 3 RBIs and scored a run himself for the Anchorage Glacier Pilots.
Home run shy of the cycle.
He is a home run shy of the cycle. And now, the pitch. Taken on the inside. Ball 1. So the count 1 ball. No strikes, 1 out here. Runners at first and second. C.J. Lewington sets, delivers. In there for a called strike. Evens up the count here. 1 ball, 1 strike. From Lee Jordan Fields, Shugiak, Alaska. 1-1 count in the pitch. And that's low and inside. Top of the 7th inning here. 2-1 pitch. Taken low. Ball 3. So C.J. Lewington. Runners at first and second, 1 out. The 3-1 pitch. And that's upstairs, ball 4. So now the base is loaded. And the batter will be Gunnar Troutwine. Troutwine on the day. 1 for 4. with an RBI. The catcher out of Wichita State University. And no action right now in the Chinooks bullpen. So now Troutline trying to extend the lead for the Pilots. Lewington's pitch, taken outside, ball one. And C.J. Lewington, that was his third walk issued on the day. The 1-0. Swing and a miss. Evens up the count at 1-1. So 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out here in the top of the 7th with the bases loaded for Gunnar Troutline. The pitch. And that's a curveball upstairs. The count stands at 2-1. So Lewington trying to get himself out of this one. The pitch. And that's fouled back into the screen by Gunnar Troutline. Lewington pitching out of the stretch. The 2-2. In there for a called strike 3. So Lewington gets him looking. And strikeouts here, of course, brought to you by Jalapenos Mexican Restaurants. So, 2 down here, bases loaded.
And batting for the Pilots, number 19, Jack Lebowski.
For Jack Lebowski and of Duke University. The Blue Devil takes the first pitch on the outside, ball 1. The pitch. And that misses again on the outside corner, ball 2. The count 2-0 here. So the 2-0 pitch here. And that's popped up out of play.
And that foul ball sponsored by the Chinook Shack.
Foul balls here, of course, sponsored by the Chinook Shack and Gavin Reeb of Edward Jones Financial Investments. So the 2-1 count. The pitch. And that's fouled back again. So the count evens up at 2-2 here on Jack Lebowski. And the Chinooks trying to get out of this inning without any more damage. And that's popped up sky high. Coming in is Caden Owens, but under it is Will Bass to make the grab for the 3rd out of the inning. So no more runs across the plate for the Anchorage Glacier Pilots in the top of the 7th. And as we head to the bottom of the 7th, we are going to see, barring any pinch hitters or substitutions, Dave Morton, Hunter Hanks, Will Bass.
Senior Center.
So now we're going to go around the league for you. And only one other game in action as we speak. And that's between the Studs of Seattle and the Anchorage Bucks. Now, right now, a deadlocked 0-0 tie between the Bucks and the Seattle Studs. As the Seattle Studs trying to take one home with them. As Garrett said, this is it for the Pacific Independent League out here in Alaska. So,
thank you so much. We won't say who, but somebody stopped
but
Saloon before they came to the game.
now the Studs in the top of the 11th facing Ed Voiles out of Florida State. But back to the here and now. The Chinooks trail by a score of 11-2. Just to give you some updates, the Chinooks struck first in the bottom of the second, but then a 4-run spot in the top of the third and a 7-run spot in the top of the sixth have given the Pilots a commanding 11-2 lead because the Chinooks got one more in the bottom of the sixth. But it's been 11 runs on 11 hits and 1 error for the Pilots, 2 runs on 3 hits and 4 errors for the Chinooks. So that kind of tells the story within itself there. And the first pitch to Dave Morton. Taken upstairs, ball 1. Morton flew out to first his last time up and got on with an error. Also today. So now the count 2-0 to Dave Morton. Out of Xavier University, caught the last out of the Big East Championship game back in 2014. The pitch to Morton. And Morton says he sees his high school friends and they say, "You're some big hot shot at Xavier." He says, "I don't think so." That's kind of just Dave Morton's personality as he takes a 3-0 pitch in there for a strike. But Morton playing third base, kind of not his regular position today. The 3-1 pitch to Morton. And Morton grounds that one to the second baseman. The throw to first will be in time for the first out of the inning. So that's going to bring up Hunter Hanks. Hunter Hanks on the day, 0 for 1. He flew out to left field his first time up. Hunter Hanks out of Lipscomb. Trying to do whatever they can for the Chinooks to get something here in the bottom of the 7th inning, trailing by a score of 11-2. The 1-0 pitch in there for a called strike. Got him on the breaking ball there. Hanks came into this game batting just .189. The 1-1 pitch in there for a called strike 2. The 1-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Hunter Hanks goes down swinging for the second out of the inning. And that's going to bring up Will Bass. Now, Will Bass been struggling of late now, 0 for his last 16.
Will Bass.
So Will Bass struck out, flew out to center, and grounded it out to the second baseman today. First pitch to Will Bass, taken on the outside, ball 1. And Garrett said earlier, what can we get out of this game? Well, if at least we can get Will Bass on the hitting track, that would be great. But that's going to be popped up to the second baseman under it to make the grab for the third out of the inning. So we are going to step off here. The Anchorage Glacier Pilots lead the Chinooks by a score of 11-2. Don't go anywhere. You are listening to Chinooks Radio. And we're in the top of the 8th here at Lee Jordan Field. The Chinooks trailing by a score of 11-2. Andrew Alex here alongside Garrett Mansfield. The first pitch from C.J. Lewington in there for a called strike one. The batter, Tucio. And he takes in there for a strike two. C.J. Lewington in his fastball is grounded up the gap. Gets by Will Bass for a hit. So the Anchorage Glacier Pilots have the leadoff runner on here in the top of the 8th inning. And the batter is going to be Aboitis out of Arizona State University. Aboitis was used as a pitcher in the last game and was the one who threw the off-the-bag throw on the bunt on the controversial Dave Morton bunt when the Chinooks were down by just 1 run in the bottom of the 8th. The first pitch to Aboitis, taken on the outside, ball 1. The Chinooks desperately trying to prevent any further damage. And that's hit right back to Lewington. It's thrown back to Stoninger for the force at first. So Aboitis lines right out to C.J. Lewington, who quickly relays it to Michael Staudinger for the unconventional fly out to the pitcher, throw out to first, double play. And that's going to bring up Joe Maroney. Joe Maroney still hitless on the day. And that pitch from Lewington sails right past Andrew Mogg. A wild pitch there. But no one on base to have it matter. So the count just 1-0. The pitch. Taken low and inside, ball 2. So the count 2-0 here to the Kansas Jayhawk, Joe Maroney. The windup, he deals. Miss low and away, ball 3. So Joe Maroney getting ahead in the count here. The 3-0 from C.J. Lewington. And he misses there again. So he walks Joe Maroney on 4 pitches. So now Joe Maroney stands at first, and the batter is going to be Johnny Locker.
Batting for the Pilots, number 28, Johnny Locker.
And give credit where credit is due to the Chinooks faithful for staying at this game. A lot of people who made the trip out here willing to support the Chinooks through thick and thin. And the first pitch to Johnny Locker misses low and away. Ball 1, the count 1-0 here. 2 down here in the top of the 8th inning. The Chinooks trailing by a score of 11-2 at the hands of the Anchorage Glacier Pilots. That one misses on the inside. Ball 2. The count 2-0 to Johnny Locker at Stanford. 0 for 1 on the day is Locker. He went down swinging his first time up, and Locker pops that one up into right field. Braxton Wilkes is under it, makes the grab for the 3rd out of the inning. So we're going to go into the bottom of the 8th inning, and just a reminder for everyone that tomorrow is Military Appreciation Day, and from what I have heard from Garrett and from all the Chinooks people who were here last year, this is a absolutely fun night for everyone honoring military veterans of the past and the present. We got a couple of World War II veterans coming out, and it is just a fantastic opportunity, especially with the Chugiak, Eagle River, and basically all of the Anchorage area being very military based with the U.S. Army and Air Force having bases out here. It's just a cool day for everyone. So everyone come out to the park, and the first 300 or 400 Garrett fans at the park are going to get hot dogs. And Garrett's saying 400 on that one. So the first 400 fans in attendance get a free hot dog tomorrow night at Lee Jordan Field in Chugiak, Alaska. So that'll be an awesome, awesome event for everyone who has the opportunity to make it out here for that. So we're heading into the bottom of the 8th inning of action here. And the Chinooks trailing by a score of 11-2 to the Anchorage Glacier Pilots. And the first batter in this inning is going to be Braxton Wilkes. Braxton Wilkes on the day.
Number 20, Braxton Wilkes.
0 for 3. Wilkes, one of the best pitchers on the Chinooks roster, and is definitely a kind of their go-to long relief guy alongside Teddy Christie and Jason Carkenny. The first pitch to Braxton Wilkes. Taken low and inside, ball 1. So a 1-0 count here on Braxton Wilkes. The pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 1. The count evens up at 1-1 here in the bottom of the 8th inning. The Chinooks trailing by a score of 11-2. The pitch. And Wilkes loops that one to the second baseman. The throw to first will be in time for the first out of the inning. And that's going to bring up the catcher, Andrew Mogg. And taking positives out of a blowout like this, Mogg 2 for 2 on the day, also has walked. So all 3 times the Filipino phenom has stepped up to the plate, it has resulted in a base runner for the Chinooks. The first pitch to Andrew Mogg, taken low, ball 1. The 1-0 pitch, and that skips past the catcher. And Ty Beck, talk about a victory, goes and grabs that ball. And Ty Beck is the speediest BB in the Alaskan Baseball League. So now the 2-0 count. And Moggy loops that one right into the glove of the shortstop, Batesel, for the second out of the inning. So for the first time today, Andrew Mogg sits down.
Batting for the Chinooks, number 24, Michael Staudinger.
And now the batter is going to be Michael Staudinger. Staudinger on the day. He singled his last time up, grounded into a fielder's choice, and grounded out to second. So that puts him at 1 for 3. The first pitch to Stauds, and that's fouled right back into the screen near where me and Garrett are sitting. Oh and 1. And that misses. Brings the count to 1-1. The pitch. Swing and a miss from Stauds. So the count 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th inning, with the Chinooks trailing by 9. The 1-2. In there for a called strike 3, side retired.
We're on our way to the top in the 9th inning. The 9-11. The Chinooks 2.
So the Chinooks trailing by a score of 11-2 after 8. We will be right back for the 9th inning of action. Don't go anywhere. You are listening to Chinooks Radio. And we are in the top of the ninth inning here from Lee Jordan Field and Corby Batesole, the batter. Batesole 1 for 1 on the day. And the first pitch to Batesole is looped into left field, but foul. So the count 0-1. And CJ Lewington, this is his 4th inning of work. And you got to give a guy credit. Coming out here and giving it his all. You know, Lewington actually hasn't surrendered an earned run yet. He has faced, and Batesole loops that pitch into center field, but Lewington has faced 20 batters, allowed now 5 hits, 0 earned runs, walked 4, struck out 2. So not the greatest outing by CJ, but definitely, given the circumstances, doing a great job. The first pitch from, and Dave Morton makes an error there at third base after the ball bounces off the hip of CJ Lewington. And a tough day as that ball from Jack Anderson just drilled CJ in the right thigh. Ended up going to third, where Dave Morton overthrew Michael Staudinger at third base. So now the Pilots have runners at first and third. Nobody out. And the batter will be CJ taking his warm-up pitches after getting hit in the left thigh with that ball. But he looks like he feels fine. Chris Beck giving him a thumbs up. And CJ, what a trooper. Coming out, and it looks like we're going to have a pinch hitter here. And the pinch hitter will be Matt McGarry, the starting pitcher of 3 nights ago out of Vanderbilt. And the first pitch to Matt McGarry, swing and a miss, strike 1. The 0-1 to Matt McGarry. Just misses on the outside. Ball 1. The count evens up at 1-1. Matt McGarry, a perfect 10 for pitching in Perfect Games rating system. And McGarry on the year. Trying to pull up some statistics on him. The pitch to McGarry. Upstairs, ball 3. So the count moves to 3-1 on Matt McGarry. And McGarry, 1 for 6 on the year. And McGarry lines that one into center field. That's going to score a run.
And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I want to remind you that the hamburgers and hot dogs are half off.
So the Pilots extend their lead to 12-2.
Get 3 of them. Get 1 for
And out
everybody.
comes Taylor White here. And it looks like he might make a call to the bullpen. And he's going to take the ball from CJ Lewington. So we're going to step off for a second. The new pitcher looks to be Shane Armstrong. And that it is. So as Shane takes his warm-up pitches, we are going to step off. We will be right back. You are listening to Chinooks Radio. And we are back here in the top of the ninth inning. The new pitcher for the Chinooks, Shane Armstrong, out of Hillsdale College, looks to close the book for the Pilots here tonight. The first pitch to from Shane Armstrong, in there for a called strike. The count 0-1. The batter, and that's fouled down the first base line right past Michael Staudinger. So now Shane Armstrong ahead in the count 0-2. Against Comer, who's pinch hitting. He is a prospective incoming freshman, I should say, for the University of Virginia, the 2015 College World Series champions. The pitch to Comer just misses on the corner. So the count moves to 1 ball, 2 strikes. So the 1-2 count. Shane Armstrong sets, delivers. And that's just low. So the count evens up here at 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes, no outs. Runners at first and second for the Anchorage Glacier Pilots. The pitch, and that's a foul ball. So we're going to do it over again, but that was very close. They're on the first base line. One run already here in the top of the ninth inning. The pitch from Armstrong just misses low and away, ball 3. So a full count here, 3 balls, 2 strikes, no outs. Runners on first and second, with the Chinooks trailing by a score of 12-2. The pitch popped up sky high, out of play down the left field line. And foul balls, of course, brought to you by Gavin Reeb of Edward Jones Financial Investments. And this broadcast, of course, brought to you by BP, powering Alaska's future. The pitch from Armstrong is fouled back into the screen. And I'm sure y'all saw that camera move a little bit. That's going to happen. And taking over for ball boy Ty Beck is pitching coach Chris Beck, who is undoubtedly slower than Ty. The 3-2. And that is hit into right center field. And that'll plate one more for the Anchorage Glacier Pilots, who extend their lead to 13-2. And now the batter is going to be Jack Lebowski out of Duke University. Lebowski on the day 0-for-1. Came in as a pinch hitter earlier in this game. And Lebowski hits that one into center field. Tracking under it as Caden Owens can't make the catch. The throw to third is going to be in time probably. And they got him at third. Caden Owens with the rocket from third base. To third base, caught by Dave Morton, who makes the tag as the bag was overslid there. So now Alex Tuccio up for the Glacier Pilots with 1 out here. Runners at first and second. 16 hits on the day for the Glacier Pilots. The pitch in the dirt there, ball 1. And this is just kind of an oddity. The Chinooks have held the Glacier Pilots scoreless in 2 of the 3 contests that they played against this team previously, but no such luck today as Shane Armstrong puts one in the zone for a strike. The count now 1-1 on Jack Lebowski. Not Jack Lebowski, actually. The pitch, and that's low, blocked by catcher Andrew Mogg. The count 2-1. And that's fouled down the first base line.
Ball sponsored by the Chinooks Shack.
So the count 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out here in the top of the 9th inning. The Glacier Pilots runners at first and second in a game that they hold with a commanding lead of 11 runs. And that's grounded right up the gap between Will Bass and Michael Staudinger. The 17th hit of the day for the Anchorage Glacier Pilots. A team that was batting 187 as a team coming into this game has now seen the floodgates have opened, essentially. And everyone seems to be hitting the ball today for the Pilots. So now Jordan Aboitis up. The first pitch to Aboitis in there for a called strike. Last time he was up, Aboitis hit into that weird caught by C.J. Livington, thrown out at first double play. So the count 0-1 here on Aboitis. The pitch, swing and a miss from Jordan Aboitis. The Pilots with the bases loaded here. The pitch to Aboitis, and that's fouled off into the back of the screen. Ty Beck after it. And there will be no attempt on that ball from the Pilots bat boy, as Ty Beck has made a statement in this game as to who the dominant bat boy is when going for balls behind the screen. 0-2. And that's grounded back to Shane Armstrong. Shane Armstrong, the throw home, the force there, and the throw to first, the force there. A double play, a 1-2-3 double play. So after 9.5, the Glacier Pilots lead by a score of 13-2. We're going to step off for just a second here, but we'll be right back here as the Chinooks head to the plate one last time in the bottom of the 9th. Stay tuned. Back here for the bottom of the 9th inning. And Andrew Alex alongside Garrett Mansfield. And Garrett and I thank all of you who have stayed on with us this entire game. It hasn't been pretty thus far, but your undying support for this team is truly very amazing. Now Caden Owens at the plate here in the bottom of the 9th. The first pitch to Caden Owens in there for a called strike. The Chinooks trail by a score of 13-2. The 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball. Just misses on the inside corner. The count 1 ball, 1 strike. The 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball misses there. The count 2-1. The pitch, and that's popped up. The third baseman under it makes the grab. Jack Lebowski caught that one there, so the Chinooks 2 outs away from getting this one over with. That's the best way we could put it there.
At the plate, for your Chinooks, number 55, Holt Davis.
And you know, with Holt Davis coming up here, can't win them all. And if maybe the Chinooks will take the things that they need to take out of this game, and maybe in the long run we can think about this as a positive somehow. But in the moment, it feels tough. The count 0-1 to Holt Davis. And he takes in there again. Strike 2. So the count 0-2 to Holt Davis. Brown shakes off the catcher. The pitch. And that's grounded weakly to the third baseman. He fumbles it. The throw to first will be not in time. So Holt Davis will be in there with an infield hit. Just the fourth Chinooks hit of the day. And now the batter's going to be Caleb Potter.
Batting for the Chinooks, number 32, Caleb Potter.
Potter on the day represents the only one of the two Chinook RBIs. The first pitch to Caleb Potter, a big breaking ball there, just misses on the outside. The count 1-0. The 1-0 pitch to Potter. Another breaking ball, basically what seemed to be the same spot, maybe a little bit more on the inside, in there for a called strike. The 1-1 pitch to Caleb Potter. And that's grounded down the third base line, out of play. A foul ball. Kind of goes into the Chinooks bullpen there. One, two. Caleb Potter takes there, ball 2. So the count 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out here in the bottom of the 9th. Holt Davis stands on first with the Chinooks trailing by a score of 13-2. The pitch fouled back over the plate by Caleb Potter.
Sponsored by the Chinook Shack.
Foul ball sponsored by the Chinook Shack. And this is a tough one for the Chinooks as the pitcher Brown checks back to Holt Davis at first base, trying to keep him close. The pitch misses on the outside, ball 3. And here comes the 3-2 pitch. Misses on the outside, ball 4. So Caleb Potter draws a walk there. And now the batter will be Dave Morton.
At the plate for your Chinooks, number 5, Dave Morton.
The first pitch to Dave Morton. And Morton takes a hack at the first pitch, fouls it down the first base line. So runners at first and second for the Chinooks, 1 out here in the bottom of the 9th. The batter, Dave Morton. Oh, 1 to Morton. Takes low, ball 1. The count 1-1. So famous Dave awaits the 1-1 pitch. And Dave loops that one into right field and sliding in to grab it is Jack Anderson in right field. So now the Chinooks down to their final out here in what has been a game to forget from Lee Jordan Field. And Hunter Hanks, the Chinooks' last hope, I suppose. The first pitch. And that's taken there by Hunter Hanks in the dirt. The pitch from Brett Brown. Hanks on the day. 0 for 2. Drew a walk. Pitch. And that's in there for a called strike. So 1-1. The pitch. And that's low and inside. Ball 1. Or ball 2. The pitch. And that's in there for a called strike. So the Chinooks down to their final strike here in this ball game. And here comes 2-2. Runners at first and second, 2 outs here in the bottom of the ninth. And Hunter Hanks fouls that one down the first base line. So we're going to redo 2-2 here. And the Chinooks trailing by a score of 13-2. A tough game for the Chugiak Eagle River Chinooks. The pitch, and that misses inside. So the count goes full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs in a 13-2 Pilots lead. Here on the bottom of the ninth, the runners at first and second. Holt Davis at second, Caleb Potter at first. The pitch. And that just misses. So now the base is loaded. And the Chinooks are going to see if
Number 6, Will Bass.
Will Bass can try to drive in a run here for the Chinooks. Somehow, some way, the bases are loaded. And though a grand slam would still have them trailing by 7 runs, perhaps it would be something to see for the Chinooks. The first pitch to Will Bass in there for a called strike. To recap the inning for you, Holt Davis singled, Caleb Potter walked, and then Hunter Hanks walked. And that's fouled back into the screen. So now Will Bass quickly behind in this count. 0-2. The pitch, swing and a miss. And that's the ball game, folks. The final score here. The Chinooks score 2. The Anchorage Glacier Pilots score 13. In what has been a game to forget. And folks, the Chinooks are still a good baseball team. This does not change that fact at all whatsoever. But just an overall one to forget. And hopefully, when we look back at this one in the long term, we can say, well, that was the day that they really turned it around in that losing streak and went on to play competitively with the Miners, because they're going to have to play competitively with the Miners. They have 4 straight coming up with the Rally in the Valley, and it has been a very tough ball game. Garrett, what are your final thoughts on that one?
I mean, basically just what comes out of a game like this, and there's not really anyone to really point at. It's just a complete downfall from the entire team, and you lose them close, you lose them late, then you lose them close, and then you just they get it handed to you on the 4th straight night again, and they fall to 8-6 on the year, and now 2.5 behind the Matsu Miners off the pace, and now they have a chance to play the Miners here at home again tomorrow, and try to make one of those up. That's the one thing is they play them so much, they have an opportunity to get some back and get some quickly, but less than 24 hours to turn this one around. They're going to have to get this one out of their minds quickly and figure it out. And the offense has to come around. It's gotta get it going. And that's one thing tonight where you see a pitching staff that has been overworked in terms of back against the wall. No chance to really make any mistakes. And tonight the lid just flew off, and they just couldn't they couldn't withhold it for too much longer, as close a games as they were playing, and just basically no offense. And ever since Cameron Baranek has been absent from the lineup, this team has not had the same spark at the top of the order.
All right, folks. Well, Garrett just about said it all. The finals, the Pilots 13 runs on 17 hits, 1 error. The Chinooks 2 runs on 4 hits, committing 5 errors. And those stats just tell the story tonight. But the beautiful thing about baseball is we'll get them tomorrow. And so we're going to check out this. Hope you guys tune in tomorrow for what will be Military Appreciation Day from Lee Jordan Field. For myself, Andrew Alex, Garrett Mansfield, and the entire Chinook staff, we thank you for tuning in tonight and wish you a pleasant evening.